Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to have a look at a whole bunch of new Pokemon products which are coming, and I think these might be pretty gosh darn popular, because there are so many Pikachu. As a fun little side note, we never pluralized Pokemon names, so it's so many Pikachu, not so many Pikachus. There we go. Now we know. And the thing is that I, like many people, are heading over to Japan for the Pokemon World Championships. This is all coming out on July the 7th. That's 3 weeks before I get to Japan. Which means, and you know, these products aren't like, you know, I'm not going to find a booster box of Pokemon card 151 like anywhere. There is almost no chance I'm going to walk into any shop, and I'm going to go to a lot of card shops, and you know I am. There is almost no chance I'm going to be going into card shops and finding booster boxes of Pokemon card 151, that's not going to happen. This stuff, however, is going to be in stock in a bunch of places. That makes me slightly nervous. I'm not saying I am going to buy every single one of these sets of sleeves when I'm out there, but I am saying that usually I can convince myself not to because I've got to import from Japan and pay all the costs and, you know, the shipping and all of that, rather than just walking into a shop and just buying them at RRP. So as much as I'd like to believe I'm not going to buy every one of the sets of sleeves I'm talking about in this video, I probably will. Sorry. But I did promise you a bunch of Pikachu merch. Let's have a chat about a bunch of Pikachu merch, starting with the playmat, which might at least be heavy enough that I can resist it. So it is a playmat, and it features just a whole mess of Pikachu. It very much reminds me of the card that I enthusiastically referred to on my podcast at the time as a pile of Pikachu. And the thing is, right, that is always going to make people very excited. People love Pikachu, so the fact that we got a lovely Pikachu here, and then a bunch more Pikachu, and then it keeps going and going and going, that is going to make a lot of people very, very excited. Now, this is a playmat, so it is going to be retailing for what playmats generally tend to retail for, which at the moment is 2,970 yen, just a shade below 3,000 yen. So what you're talking about here is $21 or £16, which is on the higher end for, you know, these official products, but come on, it's an official playmat with Pikachu and it's high quality and it's lovely. But the Pikachu products keep coming. Obviously, there is a set of sleeves that I'm just not even going to bother pretending I'm not going to buy, unless they're sold out everywhere, which they might be, because look at the happy Pikachu. So we've got a whole bunch of Pikachu here, and they're regular sleeves, which nowadays retail for 889 yen. Remember, we did have that slight price increase a little while ago, and that is about $6.20 or £4.90, which is lovely. We've then got a deck box, and the deck boxes, as they have always been, are just absurdly cheap, honestly. It's kind of ridiculous how cheap these deck boxes end up being. These are retailing for 500 yen per deck box, which is absolutely silly. And 500 yen means you're coming out at $3.50 or £2.75. Yeah, that's going to be something I'm not even going to try resisting either. Although there is only limited space in my luggage. Now, we are also getting ourselves a card binder. It's got front and back, and we haven't seen the back of the deck box, but at least compared to, like, the playmat and the sleeves, this actually does have different artwork because we can see the back of Pikachu. Although I'm not entirely sure why they're all facing forward on the front and back other than the main Pikachu. That's a bit weird to me. But this is retailing for 1,980 yen, and that means that we're going to be talking here about $14 or about £11. And then it's a binder you can put all your Pikachu cards in, which sounds lovely. Now, something they seem to be making more of lately, and I am all for it, is the damage counter case. This is coming out with all the lovely Pikachu on, and this is coming for the absurdly low price of 330 yen. 330 yen, coming in at somewhere in the region of $2.30 or £1.80. Again, absurd. And this is interesting because I'm sure a lot of you know this, but in Japan they generally don't tend to use dice to track damage like we do in the US, Europe, etc. They use damage counters. So damage counter cases are far more of a thing over in Japan than they are over here, because they actually tend to use them when they're playing, which we don't because we use dice, not damage counters. Just a fun little cultural difference there between Japanese players and players in the US, Europe, etc. Also, damage counters are pretty cool. And it just, I don't know, there's something nice about watching the streams with the damage counters on. It makes me kind of happy. And then finally, because apparently that's not enough, we've also got ourselves a storage box. This is just a foldable cardboard storage box to put a bunch of cards in with the same kind of Pikachu art, which is coming in at 660 yen. So you're talking here about $4.60 or about £3.60. Turn a little bit of rounding here and there. So look, if you like Pikachu, you are very well catered for. There is a bunch of very cool Pikachu merch coming. But the weird thing is, of course, this comes out, everything I'm showing you here all comes out on July the 7th, as I mentioned. And of course, that is a release date of the EX Start decks. And generally speaking, when we get merch released on the same day as a particular product, that is coinciding with the product. And yet, that's not really the case here for Pikachu, because of course, the Lightning deck is Miraidon. But don't worry, because we've also got Greninja merch, and the Water deck is very much Greninja here, which is nice. Now, what we got here is a set of Greninja sleeves, same price as the Pikachu ones. I'm not going to go through the prices unless they're different, and it features a very stylized Greninja, which of course fits very nicely with the Greninja EX, which is coming in the EX Start deck. Part of me wants to be a little bit sad that they've gone hard on the Pikachu merch when there isn't a Pikachu Start deck. And yet another part of me just kind of thinks the Pikachu merch is awesome, so it's willing to forgive it. I'm going to let you guys figure out where you come down on that. There is also a damage counter case, again for an absurdly low price like the Pikachu one. And this is lovely. It feels like, and I have not gone back and looked at the numbers here, so I might be making this up, but I don't think I am. It feels like damage counter cases used to be, we've always had them, but it feels like they used to be quite rare. They used to be an exception. And it feels like over the past few months, these are coming more and more regularly, and I'm all for it, honestly. I might even start using damage counters at official tournaments. Rock up my damage counters, different damage counter case every tournament. Why not, ladies and gentlemen? Why not? Now, as well as getting a Greninja deck, we are also getting a Decidueye deck, and that means we are getting a bunch of merch featured around Decidueye. Because obviously we are, because Decidueye is lovely. But it's actually the entire Decidueye line. We've got a deck box here featuring Decidueye, along with your Rowlet, and whatever the middle one's called. Okay, fine, it's Dartrix. And I know a lot of people love Decidueye. So I think a lot of people are going to be very, very happy about this. And as well as the deck box here, we also get ourselves a set of sleeves. Same price as the other sleeves. And yeah, this is all just kind of lovely. I love seeing this new stuff. Makes me very, very happy. But if you're a fan of Decidueye, you should also be very, very happy Decidueye's getting some love. But that's it. In terms of the decks, they are the ones that are getting love. There are a whole bunch of other decks which are coming out. They are not the only EX Start decks we're getting, and yet the others are being left out. So we are not getting any merch for Victini, for Koraidon, for Miraidon, for Clefable, for Melmetal, for Houndoom. All those dudes are being left out. We ain't getting no merch for them. You can be happy or sad about this. It doesn't really matter, honestly. But it's worth pointing out, they basically picked a couple of them and they're getting a lot of love. And the rest of them are just being left out. Feel free to be happy or sad about that as appropriate. It doesn't really matter, honestly. It's just an interesting thing to point out. So what are we getting? Some Pokeball stuff. Yeah. We're getting a bunch of Pokeball stuff. We are getting a bunch of sleeves with a Pokeball, Pokemon card game, and all the energy symbols on. We are getting a deck box with a Pokeball and Pokemon card game and a bunch of energy symbols on. And then we're getting ourselves a large storage box, just like the Pikachu one, but with a Pokeball and Pokemon card game and a bunch of energy symbols on. Worth noting, Fairy energy symbol is not here. Recently, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. Used to always be on, then it wasn't on for a while, now it seems to flick between being on and not being on. What is important to note, if you see the fairy energy symbol coming onto any merch, no, that doesn't mean fairy Pokemon are coming back to the game. Sometimes they use it, sometimes they don't. I don't really know why. I don't really know what the determining factors are. I just know that sometimes they use it and sometimes they don't. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the new stuff coming, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this. Tell me how excited you are about it. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join the Discord, all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely AB3, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.